Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel and to the first episode of Freedom Friday. That's right, baby. We're doing a new uh, show on the channel now, Freedom Friday. I don't know if it's gonna be every Friday or not, but it'll be here and there on Fridays and stuff is what it is. Really, I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Grandstand's getting a little bit worn out here and there and stuff like that, and I figure because it is Friday, we'll do some Freedom Friday, 2A stuff, constitutional based stuff, all that good shit. And yeah, really wanted to just talk about leftist logic today for this episode, and specifically leftist logic against the Second Amendment and Second Amendment related issues is what it is. So basically, a couple things that I'm going to talk about in this episode. Obviously, the main one will be the following, which is a bill that I talked about on our Twitter account this week, which we fully support here at the network, which is basically to exempt gun and ammo sales from being taxed now in the state of Ohio. By the way, for those that don't know, this is something that our GOP here has been trying to do for I think 3 General Assemblies now, since 2019 or so. So it's not like it's a big new issue or whatever the case be. It just happens to be it's something that's been going on now, and the mainstream media is just talking about it now because recently is what it is. But yeah, as it says here, we got Ohio GOP lawmakers want to make guns cheaper by exempting them from sales tax. They should be anyway. It's fucking stupid to have them be taxed anyway. First of all, there's a reason why our founding fathers fought taxation in their own time. There's a reason why they went to a fucking revolution against the British Empire over it. And that's the whole point entirely. Is, you actually look at 1776, it was mostly just a taxation issue. 3% T-tax is what it was. But, of course, there's other factors as well on that one. It's more, I think a lot of it was more what we're seeing now when it comes to tyranny and stuff like that, where it's just oppression and everything else like that. That's why, when you look at the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution, you actually see how they have stuff in there about illegal search and seizures and stuff like that, because back in those days, you did have the, British Empire having their redcoats come to people's houses and legitimately rifle through their shit and find, postage stamps and, paper to mail letters and stuff like that, and write letters and pens and things like that. And they would take that stuff from these people. And that's the entire problem is, the modern equivalent of that is not only, physically in your own home, it's also digitally at this point, whether it be passwords or whatever the case be for your various passwords and things like that for internet sites or, your personal emails, whatever the case be now. And those should all be protected too under the Fourth Amendment of illegal search and seizures in this country. So should it be that you cannot have warrantless searches on the internet, for that matter, dude. You can't sit there and spy on people for days to weeks of their lives without having a fucking warrant to do so, which is what happened to me back in the day in 2019 when the fucking FBI federally swatted me, when they admitted to my fucking face as they were leaving that they were illegally spying on me for 6 days of my life, is what it is. All thanks to good old fuckhead Obama and the goddamn NDAA and the bullshit-ass Patriot Act that motherfucker Bush put into place after 9/11. Yeah, the Patriot Act is literally the anti-Constitution, dude, legitimately. And it's one of the worst things ever happened in this country ever. The worst thing Trump ever did in office, I believe, personally, was re-up that bullshit ever. And he can go fuck himself, too, on that one, dude. That's why, honestly, I say somebody new for 2024 right now. Not DeSantis either, for that matter. Fuck both those guys. They should both be in federal prison cell right now with Biden and a bunch of other people, on their way to basically at least life imprisonment for the shit they've done with crimes against humanity right now. So, with all the jibity jab stuff. So, anyway, the entire point that I'm trying to make is, though, got into it with some dude on Twitter here over this whole thing because he was in the comment section, and his leftist logic is that somehow with Ohio doing away with sales tax for guns and ammunition, that's going to lead to Ohio becoming the #1 state in mass shootings. And it's like, bro, are you actually on the fucking spectrum of mental retardation at this point? I'm seriously questioning that one right now. Is that man on that spectrum, dude? Of Forrest Gump level retardation, really, is what it is, because it takes some hardcore. And I even called him out on that one. I'm like, please, by all means, go into detail on that leftist logic that you got to that, bro, because it makes no fucking sense at all. Zero fucking sense whatsoever, dude. And this is the motherfucking people, by the way. This is the piece of shit guys or the piece of shit gals or whatever they are. I think in this case, it's a dude is what it is. But these are the fucking piece of shit people in our society that, one, have voting rights when they shouldn't, and two, are the same assholes that will go join Moms Demand Action or Giffords or Students Demand Action or some kind of Everytown affiliate, whatever it is there. And they're the ones that will consistently be bussed into state houses across this country to fight against 2A legislation. And want to sit there and claim that they're volunteers and that they're grassroots when they're not. They're not. They've never, ever been either one of those things, dude. You know what is grassroots? Ohio Patriot Education Network is a grassroots organization for 2A rights. That's what we are. We're also for firearms education and constitutional teaching and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we haven't got anything off the ground yet because coffers are empty. We're cash poor is what it is right now, as is pretty much everybody else these days, which is unfortunate. But yeah, if we hit the lottery one of these days soon, like, you'll definitely know our name then, because we will be doing all kinds of classes at a state level and then expanding out, federally is what it is then, to other orgs and stuff like that, to do programs and things like that is what it would be then, to actually teach these kids from a young age, proper gun safety and, constitutional rights and stuff like that is what it is. Like actual constitutional courses based on the U.S. Constitution is what it is, and our rights and everything else like that. Obviously, you'd actually have a Bill of Rights course, and then you'd have a bunch of other courses on like other amendments in the Constitution then. And there'd just be like breakdowns of these various amendments would be then. So, and why the Second Amendment is the most important of all of them, really, is what it is. So, anyway. But, yeah, to go back and discuss for a few minutes here about what the guy was talking about, what the article was talking about. But before we get into that, we're actually going to talk about one other thing. And again, going back to the leftist logic in this whole situation, that dude's leftist logic brings us to this story out of good old R. Columbus. Line cutting leads to robbery attempt, fatal shooting at Northside Kroger. Quote, a line cutting dispute inside a Kroger Thursday night escalated into a robbery attempt when one man being shot to death by a security guard. The incident began around 10 p.m. last night inside the Kroger and Morse Road, with one or more people accusing another of cutting the line, said Columbus Police Detective Chris Journey. Quote, it was basically between customers and a security guard asked them to leave. It was basically about cutting the line, about being impatient. Within about 10 minutes, one of the individuals came back and continued to argue with others in the parking lot and attempted to rob another at gunpoint, which is when he was shot and killed then. So, yeah. And that's, by the way, those are the criminals of our society right there. The dumbasses that'll be like, oh, I'm going to go out to my fucking vehicle and grab this fucking illegal possessed gun that I have right now, and then come back there and try to start shit and kill somebody or rob somebody, whatever the case be, and then get killed themselves is what it is. Those are not legal gunners in this country, dude. Those are not legal gunners in Ohio, for that matter. These are not the people going into gun shops and filling out 4473s and actually buying a gun and paying taxes on it. These are the people that are going into a gun shop using a fucking SUV to ram through the motherfucker and then stealing like 30 guns out of that gun shop. These are the people who will buy from the people that do that. These are the people who will break into people's cars and steal the guns that people leave in their cars for some retarded ass reason because they think their car is a fucking safe when it's not, dude. And if you're going to leave a fucking gun in a car, for God's sakes, please invest in a fucking lockbox to put under the fucking seat and lock that shit up, dude, so they can't get to it. Or leave it in your fucking glove box so at least it would take them a long fucking time to yank that glove box apart. And by the time they do, you'd probably be on top of them, that's what it would be then. Or the cops would be on top of them, for that matter. And it wouldn't be worth it, But really what you should be doing is you should be keeping that firearm on your person at all times, especially in major cities in this country, dude, because those are the places you're more likely to get jacked or robbed or raped or murdered or whatever the case be, So anyway, needless to say, it's a bunch of bullshit entirely. I'd also like to point out that Columbus is one of the biggest Democrat-run shitholes in the state of Ohio right now. It's one of our many, many hell pockets here. So, Anyway, but going back to the actual bill at hand that we support here, there's actually two different versions of this. They're copy and paste of each other, but there's a House bill and there's a Senate bill of what we're talking about here with the taxation away from guns and ammo now. But it said guns could be more accessible under a newly introduced bill in the Ohio House that would exempt guns and ammunition from sales tax in the state. Now, see, this is the problem I have with people like Morgan Trout, because we talked about her the other day as well, and about her sort of left-leaning bullshit here is what it is. Just the way that she wrote that first sentence is very much misconstruing everything here. It's not that it would make guns more accessible. It would make them cheaper, which is how it should be written. It should be guns could become cheaper under a new bill introduced by the Ohio House that would exempt them from taxation. It says current gun laws. Ohio laws are as follows, but not limited to: a person must be at least 18 years old to purchase a long gun, 21 years old to purchase a handgun. And FFLs, by the way, you can legally purchase a handgun from anybody in the state that want to do a private sale with you. Good luck finding people that want to do that, though, when you're 18, 19, or 20 years old, because most people aren't going to do that with an individual that's a stranger to them. They might do it with somebody who is an actual family friend or family member or whatever the case be, but yeah, most of the time, if it's just some dude off of, like, Craigslist or whatever the case be, or, you know, whatever it is, ammo. What's that one called? Arms List is what I was thinking of right there. Yeah, something like that. Like, most people are going to sell it to you if you're under 21 is what it is. So, anyway, and then we also got as a convicted felon. Convicted felons are prohibited from purchasing, possessing, or using firearms, yet they do it all the fucking time because, again, they steal guns to use in the crimes. A person may not open carry a firearm into a school, on the school grounds, or school bus, or in a courthouse, which is all bullshit. That should not be prohibited places like that. No background checks for handgun purchases at point of sale. Wait, what? I feel like that's not written right on that one. Because what that should say is no background checks required for handgun purchases of person-to-person sales, aka if you're actually doing a private sale is what it'll be then. That's what it should say. It should say private sales is what it'll be then. Let's see. No concealed carry permits needed. Permitless carry, as it should be. And that was as of almost a year ago now. We'll be celebrating our first anniversary here in a few days, actually. On June 13th, baby, will be the 1-year anniversary of Ohio Patriot Education Network and the first anniversary of Ohio having constitutional carry, baby. So, anyway. Let's see. I feel like they just got this shit right off like Moms Demand Action's fucking website or like Gifford's website or something like that. Just like going by what they're saying and all this right now. Because like who the fuck would put no extreme risk law to allow law enforcement or family members to petition for a court order to temporarily prevent someone from accessing a gun? By the way, ERPOs, aka red flag laws, do not do that at all. What they do is they steal people's freedoms away from them and immediately break the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 14th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution by stealing people's guns from them, by having jackbooted fucking thugs that want to call themselves law enforcement taking away people's guns because some dumb cunt falsely makes a report without the person's knowledge. And then temporary my ass when you have people in Florida right now that have had their guns taken away from them for at least 2 years now and still have yet to get them back over 730 days later. That isn't temporary, dude. Temporary is like a day or two. It ain't fucking 2 years. Which is exactly why ERPO / red flag laws, and whatever the hell else I want to call them now, need to be overturned in the Supreme Court right now and need to be deemed unconstitutional like they always have been for the past 20-something years now. Anyway, and then we got no secure storage requirement to prevent children or others from accessing guns or ammo, aka no government tyranny is what they mean on that one as well. Quote, no high-capacity magazines prohibited, aka you mean standard capacity, you dumb cunts, at MDA. Allows approved adults to carry guns in schools, as it should. What they really mean with that one is teacher carry, by the way, is what they're talking about there. and does not allow municipalities to create their own gun safety laws, aka we have state preemption. No, you can't break state preemption with your stupid fucking bullshit is what it is, and try to steal our rights away from us, you fucking cunts like Andrew Ginther's trying to do right now, which is why the state of Ohio is suing your ass and the city of Columbus. And when I was talking with people the other day, actually, somebody mentioned something about how supposedly you cannot sue politicians directly, which is absolute bullshit, I believe. And I'm going to have to start talking to lawyers about that one, dude, because if I can, and I can get the money together, I'm going to sue some fucking politicians in Ohio pretty soon, dude, directly in these lawsuits against the Second Amendment stuff. Because when they're trying to push all kinds of anti-gun shit, no, it's time to take the lawsuits directly at their fucking face at that point and name their bitch ass as one of the fucking plaintiffs in that thing. Of, yes, we're suing the fuck out of you, douchebag. So, anyway. Or no, would it be plaintiff or... Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I don't know. I don't know enough lawyer shit. I know, like, plaintiff was one thing, and then it would be defendant. So maybe it's the defendant. I don't know. Something like that. Whatever. I think I'd be the plaintiff, actually, is what it would be, and they'd be the defendant in that situation. But either way, it's whatever. Anyway, continuing on here, we got, let's see, House bills. Quote, we don't want to penalize individuals who want to exercise their right, said first-term state rep Josh Williams. The government shouldn't be profiting from responsible gun owners who are attempting to exercise their Second Amendment rights. Exactly, sir. Said Williams is the co-sponsor of House Bill 189, which would eliminate the sales tax on guns and ammo. Quote, the state of Ohio is just really giving out these guns. It's like candy, claimed gun violence survivor and safety advocate Eric Bellamy. Shut the fuck up, you lying ass cunt. No, we're not, you fucking douchebag. And if I'm not mistaken, Eric Bellamy's fucking douchebag ass actually works for Moms Demand Action. Pretty fucking sure, dude. And I'm going to check that right now, actually. Because I'm 99% sure he's either tied to Moms Demand Action or Bloomberg directly with, there. Oh, really? Shocker. Moms Demand Action. Yeah, exactly, dude. Fuck you, dude. You are 100% an anti-gun sack of shit, Eric, you douchebag. No, we're not handing them out like candy, you fucking worthless cunt. What we're doing is we're allowing the citizenry, the legal gun owners in this country, people like myself, to be able to access firearms so we can fight your fucking criminal buddies that you all keep fucking bail funding out of prison like that fucking cunt Kamala Harris did over 3 years ago during the fucking fentanyl Floyd riots. And then meanwhile, that bitch wants to go to Virginia today and bitch and moan about, and this is why we need to patch us out. Shut the fuck up, you fucking cunt. Shut your goddamn mouth, Kamala Harris, you fucking cheater piece of shit. I am so fucking sick and tired of that fucking dick-sucking whore, man, for real. She is one of the biggest fucking scumbags in our country ever, man. This woman literally dropped her fucking knees for every position she's ever held in this entire country, and then rode Biden's fucking cheating ass coattails all the way to the fucking presidency/vice presidency. It's absolutely sickening, dude. It really fucking is. It's not gun violence. It's fucking black on black violence in most cases. And really what it is it's a bunch of black criminals. Y'all don't want to fucking call for being black criminals is what it is, man. It's the real. So I will, is what it is. So, just like that one down in Columbus there. I guarantee if you start looking who it was there, it was black on black violence, dude. So, anyway. But, where are we at now? Yeah, going back to the rest of that article, though. Let's see. It said Bellamy warned that the bill would make guns cheaper, which is the whole fucking point, you dickhead. That is the point. It's to stop the taxation on the firearms, you dumb fuck. That idiot Bellamy continued on said, I just feel as though they are really trying to do whatever they can to make access to guns easy in Ohio. You do realize that a bunch of other states already tax exempt fucking firearms and ammunition, right, dude? Like, you do realize that. You do realize that there's other states out there currently across the country right now, the 50 states in America, that already do tax exemptions on firearms and ammunition, as well as other stuff for that matter. And what's funny to me is he wants to bitch and moan about this, right? This fucking Eric guy, but yet doesn't say a fucking word about how DeWine and other people in the Ohio GOP are also now trying to exempt various products across the board right now, whether it be diapers and other stuff like that from taxation. Probably because this douchebag uses them personally, is my guess right now. Because that's what the dude is. He's a fucking man-child who's probably one of these sick fucks who wants to sit there and do fantasycal shit where he actually sees a fucking baby or something like that to some like chick and stuff while he's like 30-something years old or whatever it is there. So, anyway, I'm just fucking over it, man. I really am. So sick and tired of these fucking people. Anyway, continuing on here, he said, legislation gives gun manufacturers a tax credit. Yes, it does. And that's the whole point, dude. It should as well. Because actually, that's a good point of itself right there with that legislation as well. Giving gun owner or giving gun manufacturers, whether it be High Point or another gun company here, the ability to have tax credits for cheaper manufacturing in the state of Ohio. So then you would have more manufacturers looking at Ohio as a destination to bring their 2A manufacturing. That's the entire point. And the funny thing is, I actually have been calling out DeWine and Husted both in the past year about this stuff. I was like, yeah, man. Why don't you guys just do away with taxation here? We'll wait a minute or two here and see if it doesn't come back up. Should be working fine, but unfortunately, fucking Spectrum all the time with their shit. All right, there it goes. So yeah, the entire point I'm trying to make is, though, you would actually have more manufacturers coming into the state, whether it be, gun manufacturers, ammo manufacturers. Hell, you'd probably have scope manufacturers coming into the state that they were going to get tax credits and stuff. And it would actually make for more jobs in the state that are good paying jobs then. And that's the entire point. We should be wanting good paying jobs in the state, not a bunch of fucking people selling selling us a bill of goods and then selling our shit down the river is what it is, over to fucking China or some other country for that matter. So anyway, it says tax credit helps make Ohio more competitive, while the tax cuts actually make gun ownership more equitable. That's what Josh Williams said. So removing taxes can help those with lower income afford a gun for their own safety. Exactly. And that's what it is, dude. And the thing is, I guarantee you that motherfucker Eric Bellamy, just like any of these other Moms Demand Action types there, if you ever called them out about that shit, dude, they would never say a fucking word when it comes to shit, or they would never admit who the criminals are in a lot of the cases, and how in many cases it would be single black female mothers who are the ones that would be purchasing a lot of these firearms to defend themselves against their black male counterparts who would be the criminals in their communities and stuff like that. Or it'd be a bunch of illegals coming into this country right now. It would be legal Latinos here that would be defending themselves versus illegal aliens coming into our nation right now, etc., etc. Hell, there was that story the other day where you had, it was, I forget how old the guy was or whatever. I think it happened in, I want to say it was Maryland, but I could be wrong about that one. It was one of those states up in that area there. Massachusetts, maybe? Yeah, I think it was Massachusetts, maybe. But yeah, it was a dude who was beaten to death by 5 illegal aliens in this country, at least one of which was a fucking MS-13 gang member. And it's like, bro, this is who they're letting come across our border, is literal fucking cartel-affiliated, gang-banging pieces of shit that are then going to kill American citizens. This is why Americans need to have access to firearms in all 50 states right now, dude. For real. It's because of shit like that right there. With our southern border wide fucking open and our northern border the same way as well on that one. So anyway. Where we're at now. Yeah, okay, make it affordable for their own safety. Quote, we're not seeing anything being done here in the state when it comes to providing safe options to get that epidemic under control. Maybe because it's not a fucking epidemic, you fucking moron, Eric Bellamy. What it is you fucking Democrats, you fucking pieces of shit who voted in retarded assholes like Justin Bibb up in Cleveland and Andrew Ginther in Columbus, etc., who are such fucking worthless ass pricks who don't want to do their fucking jobs and want to sit there and blame everybody else except for right where it comes to at home with square number fucking one of their dumbasses refusing to actually do their fucking job and enforce actual fucking laws against repeat offenders. And instead, they're letting a bunch of teenagers who, by the way, should be tried as adults for the felonies they're already committing right now at 14, or hell, actually at like 10 or 12 even for that matter, like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 as adults. But instead, they're like, slap on the wrist in juvenile court. All right, don't do it again. 8 months later, fucking somebody gets killed now. It's the same exact bullshit that happened there with Shane Bartak last year, or a couple years. What, was it 2 years now? I don't know. It was like New Year's. I can't remember if it was this past New Year's or it was two New Year's Eves ago when he was killed there. But yeah, you had that dude get killed by some fucking bitch. I think her name was Tara McCloy, if I'm not mistaken, who was 17 at the time of his murder, and her ass should have already been sitting in adult prison in the state on at least 5 other felonies. But no, they kept pleading her ass down to fucking juvenile court, even though she was damn close to 18, man. And it's like, hey, if you're going to sit there and do a fucking gang robbery at some pizza joint with your buddies, no, your ass should be charged as a fucking adult at 17, man, for real. Or even 16 or 15 for that matter. If you want to make adult decisions like that, it's time to treat you as a fucking adult and charge you as a fucking adult. And it's as simple as that, really. And yet these are the fucking people who keep becoming repeat offenders because we're not doing that stuff. Because we're not bringing the fucking hammer down on their asses and treating them as the violent criminals they actually are. I mean, hell, when you have other people within the black community now calling for a new version of the 94 crime bill, you know we got fucking problems in this country, dude. One of the most racist crime bills ever created in this country because it specifically targeted black dudes back then with like 3 strikes laws and shit like that, and like low-level drug offenses for lifetime prison sentences because Biden was a racist asshole back then, just like he is now, is what it is, except he's got dementia now. And they're like basically like, nah, we just need to bring that shit back, basically is what it is. Now, granted, I think we could have a better version of it, obviously, but truthfully, like, something needs to be done. And honestly, it wouldn't even really need to be that being brought back. It would just need to be actually enforcing current laws already on the books in most cases. It would be actually charging these people with the crimes they're committing. And if they're doing it as a juvenile, but as a teenage juvenile, they should be 100% charged as an adult then. Especially if they're like a couple hundred days from their 18th birthday when they do that stuff. It's just ridiculous, dude. It's absolute insanity to have these people be able to get a slap on the fucking wrist and be revolving door justice system right back out on the fucking streets then, only to then turn around and try to carjack an off-duty cop and kill that guy. Which is exactly what happened in Shane Bartak's case. He was fighting for his life against that piece of shit bitch, and she blew his fucking brains out with an illegally possessed gun at the age of 17. You can't, like I said, you can't even legally buy a gun in a private sale in the state of Ohio until you're at least 18. And if you're already a felon, you can't possess guns at all. Which is exactly what Tara McCloy was. She was a multi-time felon at that point. But yet she somehow had a firearm. Because, shocker, criminals don't follow the fucking law. They never have, they never will. So stop trying to write more bullshit anti-gun laws that are going to do nothing except fucking restrict the rights of the people who would follow them. Because, oh, we don't want to go to jail now. Even though what you're doing is completely unconstitutional. That's why we're suing the fuck out of all y'all at this point. In many, many, many cases. And it's why you now have federal judges trying to do injunctions against the bullshit ATF pistol brace rule. Because that piece of shit can't even legally be put into place right now. Because the ATF does not have the fucking authority to write legislation or laws. They never have, they never will. That is something Congress has to do, and even then, what they're doing has to actually pass the muster of being constitutional, which the fucking shit is not. And that's the entire point of the matter. Continuing on with the rest of this article, though. You got another first-term piece of shit, Darnell Brewer, Democrat from Cleveland. One of the, 11 or 12 up there, if I'm not mistaken. Said he is listening and is attempting to create a, quote, common-sense gun law. He has also introduced a bill targeting the gun sales, but this one would eliminate the tax on gun safety products like storage containers and trigger locks. You know what they don't bother saying in that one, though, by the way? Is that it's a fucking safe storage law. It's an illegal, unconstitutional safe storage law that would force you to have your shit locked up, and otherwise you're going to become a felon, is what it would be. And then on top of that, they're like, oh, by the way, we'll give you a tax credit for a gun. How about just give me a fucking gun safe, asshole? How about that, dude? How about allocate, I don't know, $300,000 to buying a bunch of gun safes and gun boxes, etc., and just giving them to gun owners in the state of Ohio? That would be a better thing to do. But no, you fucking scumbag-ass piece of shit Democrats like you, Darnell Brewer, and you, Jessica Miranda, who's the other fucking primary co-sponsor on that bullshit bill, are some of the biggest fucking scumbag, oath-breaking fucking cunts in the entire state of Ohio right now, and should have already been in prison years ago at this point. Miranda's bitch ass should have been in prison since at least 2019, when she was I believe she was a primary on one of the two at that point in time in history for either red flag laws, universal background checks, and then she was a co-sponsor of everything else at that point then after the 3 days after Dayton Massacre happened. And that right there, her ass should have been fucking walked out in handcuffs with Allison Russo, Casey Weinstein, Cecil Thomas, and the rest of these fucking ass clown Democrats in the state of Ohio. And every single one of these 40-something douchebags should have been literally walked off to a fucking prison cell and awaited charges for deprivation of the color of law, for oath breaking, for multiple other misdemeanors and felonies they committed in office, as well as bribery scandals they have up the ass right now is what it is. That nobody's talking about except for me, who always talks about the shit, because I can tell you right now, 2 fucking years later, and Allison Russo's bitch ass still has yet to be investigated for the fucking fat ass envelope full of cash bribe that she took from Mom's Man Action at the State House during the House Oversight Committee hearing for constitutional carry. I am so fucking pissed that she never got investigated for that, dude. And when I was specifically telling my state rep, and he's like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude. And he's like, oh, well, it's kind of hard for us to investigate just an envelope handoff. Bullshit it is, dude. Go back there. I guarantee you, not only do they have cameras in those rooms, they have cameras all over that fucking State House, dude. Go back, get the fucking footage, start putting it together and stuff like that, and see if she fucking opens up the envelope and starts, like, flinging through a bunch of cash, dude. And then right then and there, bang, you got her ass, dude, accepting bribes. You got her, and you got the MDA people that gave it to her is what it is. And you throw them all in a fucking prison cell right now. And it would be as simple as that, really. It doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out, dude. It just takes an autistic motherfucker like me who is pissed and has the time to look into this shit to actually give you the advice to use. But yeah, Darnell can go fuck himself is what it is, dude, for real. He should have been kicked out of office just based on this alone, what it is right now. Piece of shit Darnell continued on and said, hopefully this is an incentive for people when they buy guns and ammo. They say, hey, let me buy this device as well. I swear to God, this is the problem with Democrats entirely, dude, that don't know a goddamn thing when it comes to the Second Amendment that they swore not to uphold, and why they should all be kicked the fuck out of office or oath breaking at this point. Most people, Darnell, don't have another $100, $200, $500, $1,000 fucking dollars or more to buy a gun box or a gun safe, whatever the hell it is then, when they're buying a firearm. Why the fuck do you think people want tax exemptions? Because most of us can barely afford the fucking gun, you dickhead. Let alone being able to sit there and buy a fucking locking device for it. You know what my locking device is, buddy? Having my home with locked fucking doors on the outside of it. Having a gun in the nightstand table next to my bed. Just like many other people do. That is our safe storage right there. Because most of us don't have kids. And the ones who do, by the way, they will find the money and they will eventually buy that thing and put it in their nightstand in most cases. But that should be on them to do that. It shouldn't be a forced requirement to be a gunner in this country. You know what should be a forced requirement, though? To be a politician in this country, to be an actual civil servant in this country, actually passing a fucking constitutional test to run for office. And if you can't pass with at least an 85%, guess what, bitch? You can't run. That's what it needs to be right now. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, man. I've had it with these fucking people. I really have. Anyway, continuing on with the rest of this, though. See, it says both Bellamy and Williams are showing support for the gun safety bill. Say, quote, as long as it doesn't mandate that individual uses it and requires that individual use safety devices on firearms, I would support it, Williams said. Except it does, Josh. That's the whole point. Said, any instance where we have tax burdens that are suppressing the individual's right to exercise either their constitutional rights or just their liberty in general, in Ohio, we're interested in removing those tax burdens. So, however, the gun safety advocate is worried that Brewer's legislation will be ignored like the dozens of other protective bills, aka anti-gun bills, throughout the past year, meaning that idiot Eric Bellamy. Said, while they're reviewing the bill for tax incentives for the gun manufacturers, also look at what you can do at the same way to protect Ohioans. And forced gun safety does not do that, jackass. It never has, it never will. And that's the entire point of the matter. You know, and we're actually going to talk about that one for a minute here now, because I looked it up the other day, actually. We're looking up again here in a minute on Legiscan for what that bill actually does there for the safe storage horse shit. And discuss why it is unconstitutional here in a sec. But yeah, the thing about Ohio is, right, because we are a supermajority Republicans, if you don't have a Republican on your bill, it's not going to get passed. It's not even going to, hell, it's not even going to get a fucking hearing most of the time. Now, granted, that being said, there is one that I don't know, I can't remember if it does have a Republican on it or not in the state Senate right now. And it's pretty much the Senate version of that bullshit safe storage crap that actually got a Veterans Affairs Committee hearing this past week for a first introduction one. And I'm just like, why would you even give them that, dude? Stop giving them wins. Seriously, people. Like, this is the problem with the fucking mutually assured destruction of the Ohio State House right now and the Ohio Senate right now, is you have so much corruption and so many bribery scandals and pay-to-play scandals in it that if you take down one party, the other party goes with it right now, which I'm perfectly fine with, honestly. If we kicked out every single person right now, all 132, and started fresh with way less people, we would be so much better off as a state right now, man. For real. Now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say every single one of the 132 needs to go, but there's a lot to do, man. Like, there is a lot to do. I would say at least 75 need to fucking go right now. So, and even the ones that we would basically try to keep or whatever would still be kind of a little bit scummy is what it is. They wouldn't be like as corrupt, but they're still like oath breakers is what it is in most cases. We're just voting on legislation and stuff like that. Anyway, continuing on with the rest of the, it said, Williams said that the two bills are not mutually exclusive. We can attack gun violence while protecting gun ownership at the same time. It said finances. Fox or News 5 asked both lawmakers about the financial impact of their bills since the state would be losing sales tax revenue. Quote, I understand we've got to talk about the sales tax, Brewer said, but right now we need to talk about life. Oh, you mean something that you don't give a fuck about, dude, because you've supported every anti-life bill for the past almost 6 months since you first got into office there, Darnell? Dude, we already know you fucking signed the thing to get the baby killing amendment in November on the fucking ballot. You admitted that shit on fucking Twitter a couple weeks ago. I saw that shit myself because you fucking posted it, you idiot. It's the same thing with the rest of these moron Democrats, dude. They'll sit there and be like, oh, we care about life. Unless it's in the womb, and they're perfectly fine with killing that off. Fuck these people, dude. They are such hypocrite fucking scumbags. You just need a good old-fashioned right across the fucking face, man. Straight out of fucking office. Anyway, said Williams was asked about his support for eliminating the state income tax, and if cutting the sales tax on guns and ammo would cause issues for the state, quote, we eventually want to get to eliminating the income tax and having essentially consumer taxes, but not consumption of constitutionally protected items. Both bills will likely be heard in the coming months. So, well, one will anyway. One will for sure. But, yeah, let's go and talk about that safe storage bullshit right now. So going to legiscan.com here, you have House Bill 175 enact the Keep Every Home Safe Act, because of course it's what Democrats love to do, man. They love to call it something that's not going to be, is what it is. They love to sit there and act like, oh, we're actually helping, when in reality you're just a bunch of goddamn fucking tyrant fuckboys and fuck girls who are really just a bunch of fucking cunts. Yeah, 14 Democrats, about almost half of what is in our state house right now. Yep, Jessica Miranda is the first primary sponsor, with Darnell being the co-primary. You got Rachel Baker, who should have been disqualified on the spot for even running for our state house right now, because she has literal direct ties to Moms Demand Action and was one of their fucking membership before she got into office. Still is, by the way, to this day after the fact. You got this idiot Sean Brennan, who's one of the new guys as well. Good old Richard Dick Brown, who cheated his way back into office by literally handing a handful of votes off to some vote counters to get his ass back in office then. Elliot Forhan, who's another one of these first termers, who's also a fucking pedophile. He's one of the 8 or 9 people right now that's on the Luring Kids into Cars Act that they're trying to push through the state house right now. Michelle Grimm, who I'm pretty sure is basically just a party line anti-gunner, is what it is. And I can't remember if she has ties to MDA or not. I think she has ties to Giffords maybe, actually, and I'm thinking about it. Mary Lightbody, who's the scumbag bitch who tried to give Amy Acton her own day after Acton shut down the state for over a year and a half. Lauren McNally, who's another one of these first-term scumbag Dems who should have been disqualified on the spot. Phil Robinson, who's one of the anti-gunners who should have been arrested back in 2019 because he was actually a primary sponsor of, I believe it was universal background checks 3 days after the Dayton massacre. Anita Samani, who, again, she herself should have been arrested, not for anti-gun stuff, but because she is a fucking doctor in the state of Ohio that does child mutilation surgeries. Cecil Thomas, who should have been disqualified from even running in the state house races because he was already termed the fuck out of our state senate last year after 8 years being an asshole anti-gunner, where he literally walks around wearing his Moms Demand Action pin because he's bought people for those fucking cunts. And then we got Terrence Upchurch, who's another one of these party line Democrat pieces of shit. And then finally, scumbag hate hoaxer Casey Weinstein is the 14th and final name on this fucking list, dude. So those are the 14 cocksuckers who need to be in Ohio prison right now for this whole thing alone, dude. And what does this piece of crap legislation do? Let's see. Federal licensed firearms dealer, locking devices. Okay, where we're at now. Let's see. Okay. We'll just read the whole thing here. What we're trying to add in here. This is the section they're trying to add in here. It said, federally firearms license dealer, same as licensed dealer, provides code. Locking device means they say a tamper, restrictant, mechanical lock or device that disables a firearm and renders the firearm inoperable without first deactivating said device. A locking device can also be unlocked by means of a key, which would be a safe, obviously, combination, biometrics, identifier, or other similar means. Minor means an individual under the age of 18. Possession of a firearm means owner of the firearm or another person who is legally eligible to handle this firearm carries it via off-body or on-body carry methods, blah, blah, blah. Safe storage device means a locked safe, container, case, lockbox, or other device that is designed to be unlocked by means of a key, combination, biometrics, or identifier. A firearm is, quote, securely stored if at any time The firearm is not in the possession of the owner. Here you go. This is why I will not ever support this bullshit right here, dude. And why Josh Williams shouldn't either. Because it says right here, anytime it is not in possession of the owner, of the owner's possession or another person's possession that is able to hold it, the firearm is either in a secure locked device or rendered inoperable by a locking device or other stored in a, what does it say? Elpagi container that is placed in a manner or location where a person prohibited from possession or otherwise handling of a firearm cannot reasonably gain access to the firearm. For purposes of the definition of safely stored, it is immaterial whether the firearm is loaded or unloaded at the time. So it really doesn't matter. Well, at least they're not going that far. But the whole point is, though, it's a fucking copy and paste piece of shit of exactly what they've done in other places like California, Oregon, New York, New Jersey, Washington State, I believe, has passed that shit now, et cetera, et cetera. I think Michigan passed it recently as well, unconstitutionally. And what they're actually talking about, I'm going to see if I can find it here real quick. Which, obviously, this is the problem with these people, is they're so fucking dumb, they don't understand that when you buy a gun, every gun comes with a gun lock, you jackasses. Most of us don't use them. You know why? Because we would have to literally take our guns, unload the fucking mag out of it, and then shove the fucking cable lock through the firearm and lock it back up. And if somebody's breaking into our house, we're not going to have enough time to come over here, grab a gun that is locked up in this manner, fucking unlock the key, yank the motherfucker out real fast, load up a fucking mag, and be able to engage a criminal before they're on top of us. Especially not in my house anyway. Because literally right now, where I'm sitting in my back bedroom, to the back door is about 50 feet from me. That's how small my house is. There is absolutely, even if somebody came in right now, I would have just enough time, like if I heard somebody like running into the house right now or whatever, or like kicking the back door in, I would have just enough time right now to run over to a different part of this room, grab a loaded shotgun I have for home protection, and engage their ass. I don't have time to fuck around with devices in that gun. I don't have time to open up a fucking safe to get that gun out of it. I only have enough time to grab that gun. And that's the entire point of the matter. And that's what these fuckers don't understand, man. And God forbid you're sleeping at the time at 2, 3 a.m., whatever it is, and somebody kicks your fucking door in or breaks in your home or tries to break in your home. Like, you're in a groggy-ass state getting out of bed now, and you think people really know what the fuck they're doing, trying to unlock a gun safe at that point? No. Most of them are going to be fucked up right now, dude. It's not like you're just going to be wide awake all of a sudden. It's just so fucking dumb, man. It really is. And it's completely unconstitutional, too, for that matter. I actually tweeted about this the other day because somebody brought it up what it actually was, and it was basically talking about being a safe storage law. Oh, this is one thing I do think is funny, though, on this whole thing. So basically, to try to make it not unconstitutional, they added a bunch of other bullshit into here, where it says, Section B, no person shall leave a firearm in such a manner that is not safely secured. And that right there breaks the law. That right there is why there should all be in jail right now, dude, because you are actively oath breaking. You are actively committing deprivation of law with this legislation, you pieces of shit. And then number 2, no law enforcement officer shall enter a dwelling or stop a motor vehicle for the sole purpose of determining where a firearm is safely stored. No, they'll just use the bullshit-ass Terry stops, you fucking Democrat sacks of shit, added into constitutional carry last year, and then you'll bust people for fucking carrying legally is what it is. See, Section C, section does not create a new offense for failing to secure or safely secure a firearm. No, it just puts actual felonies on you for shit that's already in the books right now. Yeah, let's see. In every instance involving discharge, unlawful carrying, or brandishing of a firearm by a minor, The responding law enforcement officer shall, without regard to whether serious bodily injury or death occurred, document in writing whether the firearm was safely stored by the firearm owner or other person in lawful possession of the firearm. So basically putting more burdens on cops to do now for your dumbasses. Let's see, Section B, responding law enforcement officer shall, within 72 hours of the incident, provide the written report to the appropriate prosecuting attorney. So within 3 days, I got to take it to a DA, basically. Let's see, Section C, report shall include significant information to facilitate the appropriate prosecuting attorney's ability to timely respond to the incident. Again, they're trying to make felons out of people right now who aren't. That's what they're trying to do. And their fucking end game, legitimately, is exactly what I've been talking about forever, dude. They want to have us all be fucking felons so they can take away our right to keep and bear arms and our right to vote their asses the fuck out of office. Because what they want at the end of the day is a fucking Democrat dictatorship, and I will be goddamned if 1776 2.0 doesn't happen first, motherfuckers. Because that's where you fuckers are leading us right now. You have already put us on a pathway to a point where we are going to have a fucking second civil war in this country, where we're going to balkanize in this country, and God forbid if it does not turn into second revolution at some point in the next 10 years or so. And I believe truthfully with what I've already laid out and many, many grandstands on this channel in the past, that is exactly what we're going to see. And I will say it here again on the first Freedom Friday, because I truly believe that's what's going to happen very soon. You know, whether it be a Great Depression event that kicks it off, whether it be, you know, something else that kicks it off, whether it be them trying to do gun grabs based on the ATF's bullshit pistol brace ruling here. Which, by the way, how the fuck are pistol braces not under common use right now when you have millions of them already on the people's guns? You have several million gun owners right now that have pistol braces. That is common use, dude, by definition. That fits the Heller ruling by definition. It's a bunch of bullshit entirely. So, anyway, I'm just over it. I'm really just over government entirely at this point, man. I think everybody is, honestly. If you're not, you need to get tried to examine is what it is, man, for real. So, anyway, but, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. I'm going to throw the link in the back, or in the chat, to the back chat, if anyone wants to come in here and talk for like 10, 15 minutes or so. I'll be here for at least that long. And then I'm probably going to take a nap for like a little bit of time because I'm pretty tired right now. But yeah, I'll be here for at least like 10 or 15 minutes anyway. But other than that, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. Link just dropped there. So if anyone wants to use that and come in and bullshit or whatever, it's fine. Otherwise, I'm just going to jump off here then. But yeah, I'm just sick and tired of the left at this point. I'm sick and tired of the leftists. I'm sick and tired of the tyrants in this country on both parties. And I've just had it, really, honestly, man. And I think most Americans have at this point as well. When you see them creating new laws to fuck over our constitutional rights right now, enough is enough of this shit. It's time to legitimately, the cops in this nation, the law enforcement in this nation, to step up and do their fucking job and actually arrest these scumbag criminals already. Be done with it. And make our country a truly constitutionalist nation again with the Second Amendment. And it's as simple as that. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.